A very happy Dasara to all of our viewers in India and across the world. This is the season of good over evil for at least one politician in this country. The good is the opposition and the evil is vote chori and the death of democratic institutions. Why else would he be sitting at the far corner of the world lecturing a hall full of engineers from a country that has absolutely very little connection to India about how bad democratically India is collapsing and failing back home? Well, you already know who I'm talking about. So let's get straight to India Matters on Thursday night. I'm Shiv Aroor, and that brings us to our lead story tonight because Rahul Gandhi is sitting not in Bihar, not in Delhi, not in Raebareli, not in Wayanad, not anywhere in the country, but in Colombia. In Colombia, in Latin America, the other end of the world literally from India, where he has just told engineers from a place called Medellin that democracy is collapsing in the country. It's his favorite phrase, it's his catchphrase, and I'm going to be wondering why he's done that again. Then we've got the big uprising that's taking place in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, which is just one of 7 big fires that are now raging around and within Pakistan, bringing it to its knees in worse ways, perhaps, than even Operation Sindoor could actually do. And finally, on the show tonight, Pawan Kalyan has wagged a warning finger, appealing to fans of cinema stars to stop these wars, which have become mercilessly brutal between stars in Telugu cinema. Why has he done that? I'll have an actor live on the show to tell us why he has needed to fold his hands and beg fans to stop fighting with each other. But let's get straight to our top story for tonight. Rahul Gandhi is on yet another grand intellectual expedition, this time to Latin America. Yes, Medellin, the city in Colombia, better known for Netflix drug lords than nuanced debates on Indian democracy, now has Rahul explaining how India's democratic lights are flickering. It is always nice to see Rahul Gandhi chase ideas and deliver lofty lectures to a hall full of young digital native engineers and doctors about AI and the death of democracy on the other side of the world. But there is an election back home, isn't there? One that probably deserves Rahul Gandhi's attention a little more than persuading Colombian students about India's fault lines. The BJP does not even need to set traps for Rahul Gandhi anymore. He happily walks into them. It has spent years branding him as a foreign trip obsessed, self-indulgent philosopher who prefers conference halls abroad to the dust and heat of Indian politics. He was on vacation in Malaysia just weeks ago, reports tell us. Now he's on the other side of the planet, leaving the Congress foot soldiers to fight alone just when the Bihar SIR lists have dropped and his vote chori crusade could have used its general on the ground. Well, this jet-setting campaign, which, by the way, also includes Sam Pitroda, who just days ago said he feels at home in Pakistan, this jet-setting campaign to paint India as a black hole of democratic values is manna from heaven for Rahul's critics, mainly the BJP, because it reinforces every caricature they have built of him. And it forces an even bigger question. Let's remember that Rahul Gandhi isn't just a Congress MP, he's leader of the opposition, not just the Congress party, the opposition. So this is not just about winning or losing. It is about whether Rahul Gandhi still cares what his party thinks as it fights for political survival, while he chases applause in distant, sunny Colombia.
The single biggest risk is the attack on democracy that is taking place in India. Because India has multiple religions, multiple traditions, multiple languages, and India actually is a conversation between all its people. And different traditions, different religions, different ideas require space.
And what's interesting about all of this is that this is not even new. There is nothing even uniquely fresh about what Rahul Gandhi has said, except that the country has changed this time. Just take a look at some of the recent examples. In May 2022, London was the battlefield where Rahul Gandhi went there and famously said, India's voice has been crushed. Just a year later, in March 2023, he was once again back in the United Kingdom, this time in Cambridge, where he said institutional frameworks required for a democracy were getting constrained. We are facing an attack on basic structure of Indian democracy. He also famously said opposition leaders are locked up just for standing outside Parliament. That same month, he also traveled to another destination in the UK where he said Europe and the US are not doing enough to restore democracy in India. That one line sparked a huge political fire back home because it seemed like Rahul Gandhi was egging on Western powers to intervene in Indian politics. He also said the US and Europe must intervene in India. The West must expose the reality of India, said Rahul Gandhi, perhaps not conscious of the weight of his words. Remember, he was not leader of the opposition at that time. But in September 2024, in Virginia in the US, he said the fight is whether a Sikh will be allowed to wear a turban and a kada and then go to the Gurudwara. This is after he became leader of the opposition. September 2024, in Washington, D.C., Congress will think of scrapping of reservations when India is fair, is what he said. That had a huge backlash against him, and the BJP made a big meal of it. April 2025, just earlier this year, in Boston, he said the Election Commission of India is compromised. October 2025, in Colombia now, he says democracy in India is under attack from all sides. So the general theme of what Rahul Gandhi says on these trips abroad is largely the same. Democracy is under attack, democratic institutions have been assaulted by the Modi government, and that the West is not doing enough about it. The latest platform for this, as I said now, is Colombia. Joining me live now to talk about this, because remember, a few things have changed, as you saw in that timeline that I brought before you. One, of course, is that Rahul Gandhi, for over a year now, has been leader of the opposition. So he isn't just a Congress MP. He holds the very important constitutional position of being India's leader of the opposition, the world's largest democracy. Remember that. Anand Ranganathan, scientist, author, commentator, is with us. Vivek Bansal is a leader of the Congress. Welcome to both of you. Thanks for being with me. Happy Dashara, first of all, to both Anand and Vivek, and for your time tonight on India Matters. Anand, quick reminder to you and to all of our viewers about the highlights of what Rahul Gandhi has said. One, he said, single biggest risk is this attack on democracy. He says whole-scale attack on the democratic system. Elsewhere in that interaction, he says, we are not manufacturing, we are not producing. All of these are very easily refutable statements that Rahul Gandhi has continuously been making for the last few years. So my first question, Anand, to you is, Rahul Gandhi, in a very familiar manner, paints this picture of India where democracy is dying. How do you read it? Do you see it as, a philosophical pursuit? Do you see something insidious in it, as the BJP would like us to think? Do you think Rahul is just more comfortable outside because, things are so frustrating politically for him here in India? How do you read it, Anand?
Good evening, Shiv, and good evening to my fellow panelist, Mr. Bansal, and wishing everyone a very happy Dashera. Shiv, there is a thin line between truth and lies, between fact and fiction, and I'm afraid Rahul Gandhi has snorted it. Perhaps fitting that he has done so being in Colombia. But three things are constant in an Indian's life. The fact that he has to pay tax till his undergarments are shredded finer than a paper shredder can. The fact that wittingly or unwittingly he ends up walking on Waqf land, and the fact that every single waking day he is exposed to industrial scale lies of Rahul Gandhi. I have said this before, let me repeat. Making sense of Rahul is as easy as consuming rasam with chopsticks. I have exposed his lies on dozens of occasions, especially on this death of democracy, killing of constitution. But today's dish is special. I want to focus on that. He's talked of something else. Let me explain. Rahul has today spoken of decentralization because he's spoken of corruption and how it has become so endemic in India because of Modi, and how he's fighting it tooth and nail. Really? Let me expose him right there with three brief examples, and I challenge Mr. Bansal to rebut them. Number one, Rahul keeps on bleating like a broken record that Adani is corrupt. If that is the case, then why was it that the erstwhile Congress-ruled states of Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan were invested in Adani companies to the tune of 1 lakh crores? Mines, power plants, airports, you name it. Rahul's allies are right now investing billions in Adani to make ports, for example, in Kerala. So, simple question is, how can you and your friends call someone corrupt and at the same time give him projects worth billions of dollars? Number two, Rahul said anonymous electoral bonds were independent India's biggest scam. I agree. But then explain, why is it that his party took thousands of crores through the same anonymous electoral bonds? And number three, in 2015, the High Court convicted the BJP for FCRA violations. I repeat, convicted. And what happened? The BJP simply amended the FCRA Act in the parliament retrospectively, took it back to the emergency era, and the crime was annulled. The courts couldn't do a thing. Is this not corruption? Yes, it is. But then why didn't Rahul protest? Why didn't Congress block the roads or suspend the parliament? You know why? Because the High Court had also convicted the Congress of the same crime. And the BJP could amend the FCRA Act annulling the conviction with Rahul's support. Look, Shiv, if an organization gives money to a political party, does it expect some leverage in return? The answer is yes. The biggest election interference in Indian history was perpetrated with full support and partaking of the Congress. The anonymous electoral bonds and the amendment of the FCRA Act that allowed foreign companies to give billions to Indian political parties anonymously. That was the biggest betrayal of the Indian voter. And Rahul and Congress never returned the money to these companies. And it was not a foreign hand that did it. It was an Indian hand. And that is why, way more dangerous as it was done in secret. Unlike a spurious paid for news report or ad that you can read and rebut, Rahul Gandhi wants transparency on party funding, but wanted to keep opaque as to who gave Congress money through electoral bonds. Why? If a foreign mining company gave billions to the BJP, Congress would be up in arms, right? But a foreign company did give billions to the BJP, and yet the Congress was silent. Why? Because that same mining company also gave billions to the Congress, and both BJP and Congress joined hands in amending the FCRA Act to escape conviction. Was that not interfering in inter-elections? Was that not a living, breathing embodiment of corruption? So this is a new canard that Rahul is spreading abroad about corruption, and here I would urge Mr. Bansal to rebut me.
Vivek Bansal, you've heard what Anand has said. I don't need to summarize it. He says it's a canard being spread. Canard being spread by Rahul Gandhi. It's his favorite allegation. Yes, respond.
No. Let me just put it very straight. That as far as Mr. Adani's issue is concerned, what Rahul Gandhi's allegation and objection is, the way crony capitalism is taking place, the way he is being capitalized, he's being patronized by this ruling dispensation. And secondly, the gap which everybody is talking about GDP growth and all that, but the disparity which is at the moment existing in the country, is it adequate justice to the majority of the people who are just barely touching or exceeding the poverty line? That is the main issue at the moment when he objects to Adani and Ambani basically. And corruption is definitely, I would say that definitely he raised up the issue. And as far as at that point of time, he was not leader of the opposition, and party was not in such large numbers as it is now. So we could not, our voice could be, just lost in the din by the ruling party members by just brute majority. But at the moment, he is raising up issues because he is leader of the opposition, his voice is being heard, and as far as raising this issue abroad is concerned, he is addressing, you see, it's not a question of abroad or now things are global. Whatever he says here also tends to get amplified there abroad as well. And Indian diaspora is there he is addressing them and he is raising the issues. Because they are also voters now with the new election laws and all, they are voters of this country. So why object on that? And Rahul Gandhi is raising, and let me tell you, as far as constitution and undemocratic,
I'm coming to that. Vivek ji, I'm coming to the democratic part of it in my second question. I'm just hold on to that thought. I want to end the loop on the corruption issue. Anand, are you satisfied with that rebuttal, or you want to add to that?
No, I'm not, because with due respect to the erudite, my good friend Bansal ji, he is all over the place. He's not answered the three basic questions. And by the way, when he talks about inequality, let me give him the facts. The Gini coefficient, which is a marker for inequality, has been the lowest since records began as far as India is concerned, 0.29. In 2014, it was 0.4. So inequality has decreased, but be that as it may, you can have opinions on that. But the fact of the matter is, the three questions I asked was, simple question to Vivek Bansal ji. You claim that a lawyer is intensely corrupt, his law firm is corrupt. Would you keep on hiring that lawyer and that law firm? Logic says no. Then please tell me, why did you keep on investing to the tune of 1 lakh crore in Adani companies? It's a simple yes or no question.
We have not got a satisfactory answer to that so far.
No, I haven't. And the second more important question is, when Congress said that anonymous electoral bonds were the biggest scam, why has it not returned the 1,600 crores that it got from anonymous electoral bonds? If it believes that was scam-tainted money, return it. And the third question is, when BJP was convicted of corruption, why did the Congress support it in amending the act that convicted the BJP? These were three direct questions.
I again say, at that point of time, we did not have the numbers to heckle the government. At that time, at that point of time, we were in a minuscule. The numbers were minuscule.
You voted. You voted for the amendment,
and they used to bulldoze our voice.
It was not even a question of the numbers.
Now, just by
you voted for the amendment, sir. That's the point.
Tables have turned. At least our. Sir, let me know. We didn't vote. We had walked out out of that. And even if we had voted, we couldn't have done much. But today, if we do something, today we have a sizable number, and Rahul Gandhi has by inherent right to speak on things.
Vivek ji, let me come to the second issue. You had you made a point. You made a point of the corruption issue, Anand and Vivek. Let me come to the second issue, which is, one that Rahul Gandhi has, with great regularity raised on every single speech and every single trip, which is how democracy is dying. There is a all-round attack on our democratic institutions, and democracy is a black hole. That's been a running theme since about 2021, 2022. Every single speech, and I actually did the research on this, reflects this one theme in one way or the other. So Vivek ji, again I ask you, if Indian democracy is under such a grave threat, how is it that Rahul Gandhi can travel the world openly criticizing the government, without any consequences? He is, after all, the leader of the opposition, sir. He says this at least 12 times a year in different parts of the world.
Let me. You see, democracy doesn't mean that complete democracy has been thwarted or all the democratic norms have been. What basically he means to say, in the present day democratic scenario, they are trying to bulldoze the voice of the opposition. Whosoever raises a voice, either CBI or ED is used against him, and so noose is tightened around him, and they see to it, they ensure it that his voice is, he doesn't raise a voice, whosoever it is. So that is basically, and the way the election machinery has been used, and the way he unraveled everything with logic and with all concrete proofs, that in itself reflects that the election commission, which is one of the main pillars of democracy as far as casting of the voting rights is concerned, he proved that they were hand in glove with the ruling dispensation, and so many people either they were deprived of their voting rights.
On the death of democracy theme that Rahul Gandhi has revived once again in Colombia, Anand, what do you say to that? Because I listened to the speech a couple of times, hoping that there would be something new or a fresh layer to what he's saying. It's the same thing. Democratic institutions are under attack. It is collapsing. The West is not doing anything about it. That's basically it.
No, look, this is not about his forecast.
No, he never said that West is not doing anything about it.
Earlier speech. That was the earlier speech, 2023.
He never asked them to intervene in that.
That was 2023, sir. 2023, that was in the UK. You're right. Anand.
Yes. No, look, Shiv, this is not about Rahul Gandhi's faux pas that honestly arrive as frequently as your unwanted relatives. This is about destroying the same democracy by the Congress party and Rahul Gandhi that he claims he's going to save. Let me give you some facts. When does democracy die? Democracy dies when a citizen's freedom of speech and expression is brutally curtailed and stomped upon. And that is what Jawaharlal Nehru did through his first amendment to our constitution. Following him, dozens of books and films were banned, historians and editors were jailed. When does democracy die? When the president and the judiciary is forced to curtail the fundamental rights of the citizen. And that is what Indira Gandhi did through the emergency, following which tens of thousands of Indians were jailed and killed and sterilized, and constitution's body and soul and preamble altered with gay abandon. When does democracy die? When a Supreme Court's considered verdict is overturned with impunity, when the citizen's right to privacy is snatched away. And that is what Rajiv Gandhi did through the Postal Act and through overturning the Shah Banu judgment, ushering in an era of blatant appeasement.
Vivek ji, I'll come to you. I'll give you the last word. Let Anand finish.
When does democracy die? When tens of thousands of activists are arrested and charged with sedition and called anti-national, when the election commission is severely compromised, which is what Sonia Gandhi did, when under her proxy rule 8,000 activists were charged with sedition in a single day, when Naveen Chawla, despite the Shah Commission charging him with committing atrocities during the emergency, deeming him unfit for office, was appointed the chief election commissioner, ignoring the cries of the CE that Chawla was spying for the Congress and passing on sensitive information. Finally, when does democracy die? When the FCRA Act is retrospectively amended, rendering the High Court conviction of political parties like the BJP and the Congress toothless, which is what happened under Rahul Gandhi, when the High Court conviction of Congress and the BJP was rendered useless through a parliamentary amendment brought in by the BJP, supported by the Congress. So Shiv, Nehru, Indira, Rajiv, Sonia, Rahul.
Not at all supported by the Congress.
Who have made sure our democracy is dead. On the other hand, just 10 seconds. How has Modi killed the democracy? Give me one example, just one, that hasn't either been ratified by the Supreme Court or indeed by the opposition itself, like the 370 abrogation or the overturning the Supreme Court SC/ST Act. But as I said, facts don't matter to Rahul.
Last 60 seconds, Vivek ji, go ahead. Many questions Anand has asked. Would you like to address any of them? Last word to you.
When a friend says that when the democratic norms have been thrown to the winds, the most glaring example is the way Honorable Mr. Jagdeep Dhankar had been shown the door after independence. This is for the first time the way summarily the vice president had been dismissed for no apparently very strong act of omission. I fail to understand. That doesn't speak the autocratic manner of conducting himself, the government conducting himself. How do you explain that? And as far as democratic norms are concerned, if he cites the example of emergency, it was Indira Gandhi only who went for the elections, who apologized for the emergency circumstances. One can always indict somebody's, one can always pass strictures against anybody. But one has to keep in mind that that point of time, after 25 years of independence, democracy was in the process of evolving. It was getting matured. What was right today cannot be termed as, what is wrong today cannot be termed as, at that point of time, comparisons are always odious. And so, at this point of time, we are a mature democracy, and democratic institutions needs to be strengthened. Not on the contrary,
I will end on
they are being weakened and used for their own petty interests.
Anand, 20 seconds, only 20 seconds.
Thank you. To my dear friend Bansalji, just give me 3 institutions, democratic institutions, Bansalji, that have been killed today that were alive in 2014. Just 3.
2014 election commission was very much. Now the appointment of election commission chief justice has been, name has been, omitted from that committee. What was the reason behind that? Can you explain that? Can you explain that?
Shall I?
Okay, I'm out of time. This can go back and forth between two very, very well-spoken commentators here on India Matters, but only for lack of time, I'll have to end it. Vivek Bansal, Anand Ranganathan, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for being with me on discussion number 1 on India Matters tonight. Okay, and straight into story number 2. Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir has been quaked by protests against Pakistan's Field Marshal Asim Munir, I beg your pardon, General Asim Munir, over the last few days. There have been violence, there has been clashes, 10 people have been killed in firing. There is Fires raging in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, which has turned in many ways into a battle zone. It's an uproar against the Pakistan government's failed promises. There are demands for freedom and justice. There is price rise. There is a neglect that's taking place in POK that has triggered an unprecedented level of violence. The Pakistan security forces have, as always, been using their guns to silence dissent. Bullets are flying as POK is burning. These are real images of protests that have been taking place. A big pushback from POJK. The protests have shattered the Pakistani narrative that all is well in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. I want to bring in voices to try and understand what's taking place, because as I will show you in just a moment, it isn't just Pakistan-occupied Kashmir that's burning, but there are fires raging all around and within Pakistan right now, leading to a very, very unstable situation just a few months after Operation Sindoor with India. Dr. Shabir Chaudhry, author and political analyst, joins me from Pakistan-occupied Kashmir tonight. And Major Nadeem is a well-known Pakistani defense analyst. He's a former DG with Strategic Defense Division as well. Welcome to the both of you. Thanks for being with me. Dr. Chaudhry, to you first. How do you see the current protests that have been sweeping Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir? Is this just another protest? Or is there something historic about what's going on? They've been raging for the last 3 to 4 days at least, sir.
Thank you very much for providing this opportunity to express my views. My thanks to you as well as to your channel, NDTV. It was sad to hear that your democracy is under threat. The biggest democracy on earth. Let me tell you what is under threat in my region where I come from. You can call it Pakistani occupied Kashmir, you can call it Pakistan administered Kashmir, and you can also call it called Azad Kashmir.
POK. We only call it POK. Yeah.
Our right to life is under threat. Our dignity and honor is under threat. Our resources are under threat. Our struggle and what we are doing there, or what we are saying there, is not one individual. You just mentioned General Asim Munir. Our struggle is against the occupation. And it started occupation, did not start when General Asim Munir became a general. It started in 1947. We've been campaigning against the occupation and we were asking for justice. What is happening now?
Yeah.
We are talking about right of expression. That is something which is being taken away from us long time ago. Many of my books have been banned. I cannot go back to my village. I am not reason. Just because I speak against Pakistani occupation, Pakistani inappropriate treatment to people of Jammu and Kashmir, the way they treat us as second class or maybe third class citizens. Yeah. We're using that and talking about it. Even now, at present, while we are talking, people say that talks are going on. Let me tell you, talks between who? My sources tell me, ISI chief is there, Masood Khan, as we know, puppet of Pakistan, who served as an ambassador in Beijing and also in America, yeah? And he was also president, he was served as the president of Pakistan.
I understand what you're saying, Dr. Chaudhry. Major Nadeem from Pakistan is also with me. He's a commentator from there. He's been part of the security establishment as well. Lieutenant General Satish Dua is also with me. He has headed India's integrated defense staff as well. Welcome, General Dua. Major Nadeem, to you first. You've heard what Dr. Chaudhry has just said, that this is only a result of many, many years and decades of the people there being treated like second-class citizens, price rise, infrastructure, families refused burials till demands are met, the charter system, a complete failure of faith in the Pakistani government, sir. How would you see this, Major Nadeem?
First of all, thank you very much. Let me explain you. First, what you say that it is Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. It is not Pakistan-occupied Kashmir.
So there's no argument on that. That's not the debate tonight.
It is Azad Jammu and Kashmir. Let me clarify. Another thing which I want to clarify is it is not a freedom movement.
There is no debate on that.
It is not a freedom movement. You use the word freedom. It is not a freedom movement. No insurgency or no rebellion is going on as it is going on in the northeast area, these seven sisters.
Sir,
right?
you are a former soldier, if I'm not mistaken. So please behave a little maturely. Please behave with a little bit of maturity.
Yes, I'm just clarifying these 2 points. Okay, I am
the
giving
question that I'm asking you. You've got 4 days, 4 days of unrest in POK, Pakistan occupied Kashmir, where 10 people have been killed by your cowardly armed forces.
Not 10 people.
10 people have been killed by your cowardly armed forces over there.
And
you are sitting and arguing about the northeast of India, sir.
It is incorrect, right? Okay? I'm just trying to say it is a peaceful
Don't
protest.
get triggered by words, sir. Answer the question.
Yes, I'm replying the question.
Yeah.
So first of all, it is not a freedom movement. It was just a socio-political demands for restructuring the socio-economic structure. It is not at all the insurgency, not a rebellion, right? And there was nothing.
Perhaps.
The complete Kashmir was peaceful before 29 of
So if it's not a
September,
rebellion,
right?
why are 10 people dead, sir? Why are 10 people dead if it's not a rebellion?
It was basically the planted Indian raw agents.
Okay.
Who
I was waiting for that.
Who hurled stones, who fired over the police, right? Okay, so everything was okay before 29th September, as the Mr. Bashir Saab saying, they are being deprived of their rights. It is nothing like that.
You are being called a raw agent tonight. I was waiting. I thought it would come in the first 10 seconds, but it took about 2-3 minutes for Major Nadeem to call you a raw agent. Quickly respond, then I'll bring General Dua in. He's already smiling.
Sir, basically the Indian sleeping cells are there in the Azad Jammu and Kashmir, not Indian occupied Kashmir. And they were being planted in the peaceful demonstration, in the peaceful protest. They were demanding for the restructuring of the
I like Major Nadeem, you know, the fantasy world,
as a freedom fighter,
the fantasy world of the Pakistani security forces is something that always impresses me a great deal. And that's the reason why I'm very happy we have General Dua. Just hold on, sir. With respect,
the word the security agency.
You keep talking about
only the police.
Sir, you keep talking about Indians operating inside POK. Let me introduce you to General Dua, who was the architect of India's 2016 surgical strikes, where we actually sent agents to, hit Pakistani terrorists operating from POK. But that is not the issue in debate right now. General Dua, the Pakistanis say, this is not a rebellion, this is not a revolt, it's no big deal, 10 people are dead, so what? You don't have to give it so much attention.
Incorrect.
Let General Dua speak, sir. Sir, let General Dua speak.
Yes.
Thank you, Shiv, for giving me this opportunity. And I'll request my co-panelists. I've heard them very patiently. Please do the same courtesy to me. You see, I have heard comments that the rebellion that we are seeing in POK, mass movement, the number of deaths that have taken place over the last few days. This is not the first time. It does happen from time to time. And why, Major Nadeem or anyone else would perhaps say, I'm just hazarding a guess, mind you, that is not such a big thing, is because Pakistan is having problems on the Baluch front, huge problems there. They have problems with the Pashtuns and the Afghanistan border. They are having problems here in POK, as we see from time to time. So Pakistan at the present moment, I really empathize with them, is in a very low spot. Politically, their most popular leader is in jail. Diplomatically, they stand nearly isolated. Only 4 countries supported them during Operation Sindoor. Financially, they're at the lowest point ever. They have to borrow money to pay their. They have to take loans to pay their loans. So, at the present moment, I'll just end with 2 quick points. There have been countries ever since terrorism became such an instrument that states use unofficially. Terrorism has become an instrument, for proxy war by many countries and states. Pakistan used that as well against Kashmir, against Punjab, but then eventually they've actually grown out of it. Now terrorism is an instrument of state policy. And in fact, the state is now turned proxy for US, for China, for any other activities that they would want to prosecute. I would just like to end by saying that, the famous Hillary Clinton statement, when you rear snakes in your backyard, they will come back to bite you as well. And I see a lot of that happening all over.
I want to second, Major Nadeem, I'll come back to you, but I just want to add with a map what General Dua was saying, because you jumped on the Indian Northeast and said, look at what's happening in your Northeast. Let me just point out to you, sir, what's happening in your country. You are well aware of this, but you will not acknowledge it. So let me just show it to you and all of our viewers. We've shown you just now what's happening in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, a violent uprising in which several people have been shot dead by the Pakistani government. This is a big rebellion against the Pakistani government that's taking place there. That's number one. Number two, in Gilgit-Baltistan, protests have been happening against Pakistani human rights violations. They've gone to the United Nations Human Rights Council as well. Then we go to Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, one of the large provinces in Pakistan, where the Pakistan Air Force just days ago conducted airstrikes against what they thought were Taliban targets, but ended up killing many of their own citizens. On the Afghanistan-Pakistan border, in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa area, there are daily attacks by the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, killing dozens of Pakistani military targets and soldiers practically on a daily basis. Come down to Balochistan, you've got suicide bombings that are taking place almost on a daily basis, daily attacks by the Baloch Liberation Army as well, which was recently designated a terror group by the United States. And then, of course, on the line of control, you have the situation that has been tense since Operation Sindoor, completely bruised and battered by the Indian Army as well as the Indian Air Force. And remember that there are several bases, dozens of bases and targets across Pakistan that are still under repair after being damaged in airstrikes by Indian Air Force strikes. So it's not just POK, Major Nadeem. I've just shown you how, while you are pointing at India's northeast, which, mind you, is under control, we are on the road back to peace.
Indian occupied Kashmir.
You are surrounded by fires, sir. You've got fires burning on all your borders. Your military is under siege. Your leaders are sitting and smiling and acting like slaves of the United States at the White House. And here you're pointing at India's northeast, Major Nadeem. I mean, there has to be a limit to shame, sir, with respect.
Sir, we are being asked to act as a security provider in the GCC, Gulf Cooperation Council, right? We are the country, right?
I want our viewers to look at this map. I want our viewers to look at this map when they talk about security provider.
Let me speak. And let me show your map as well. Okay? Let me show your map as well.
Net security provider in the region is this map. Yes, I just want everyone to look at this map.
We are the security provider. And
this is your map, sir.
The other GCC countries will also join us.
This is your map.
Right?
This is your map.
Yes. Let me show your map also.
This is your map.
What's happening in Ladakh? What's happening in Ladakh?
This is your map. The Ladakh protests are over, sir. Sir, we are a democratic country. We are a democratic country where talks, negotiations always bring peace. We don't bomb our own people, sir, unlike your Pakistan armed forces.
What's happening in Ladakh?
Let me, since you don't wish to be convinced even by this, I did not wish to be disrespectful with you, sir. I respect everyone. You're a guest on our show. Let me show you a few images. Since maps will not convince you, let me show you a few images. Let me show you what the leaders of your country are doing while your armed forces and people are being bombed. Let me just show you some pictures. Please look at these wonderful pictures that we have on our screen right now of Asim Munir and Shehbaz Sharif, doing a sajda with Donald Trump, while you have innocent civilians being bombed by your Pakistan Air Force in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa just a few days ago. Just look at this shameless picture, sir. Shameless picture. Let me go to the second one. Let's go to the second one, where Shehbaz Sharif and Asim Munir are standing and posing for photos in the White House with Donald Trump, while there are suicide bombing has taken place. Violent protests are taking in POK. Not just military targets, but civilians have been killed in record numbers in Pakistan. and you
What
have
Justin Trudeau
you have your
saying?
the number one man and the number
What?
two man in
Tell
your
him.
country, the field
Sir,
marshal and the
what?
prime
Tell
minister,
him that what's Justin
sitting
Trudeau
like
saying?
sitting like clowns,
Why
sitting like
America
clowns,
refused
sitting like
visa to
clowns,
Modi?
sitting like clowns and
Okay.
trying to win over Donald
Okay,
Trump
what
with gifts
RSS
and
is
minerals
doing?
and things.
What's happening in
Shame on your
Ladakh?
country, sir. Shame on
What's
your
happening in
country. Your
Ladakh?
people must be so ashamed
What's
of you. But
happening
let me
in
bring in
Indian
General Dua.
occupied
I don't
Kashmir?
want to, I
It
hate
is
it. I'm a
just a
journalist. I don't
civilian
want to
protest.
speak disrespectfully to my guest.
It a
So I
peaceful
don't want to do
protest.
that. I'm going to roll
It is
back that
not
back.
an insurgency.
General Dua, Major Nadeem, I'll come
What
back to you. I was
about
making a larger point
Naxal
because you were
rebellion?
lying. You were lying about India. General Dua.
Shiv, I just add to what you said just now about showing that visual, which has gone viral all over the world, of the chief and the prime minister taking that samples to President Donald Trump. Just before I entered this panel discussion, I heard latest news that their army chief and the prime minister were ridiculed, not by us Indians or not by anyone else, but in the Pakistan Senate by, I forget the name, he is the grandson of Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan.
Yeah.
And he ridiculed both of them for taking these samples to, so-called samples, the visual that you're showing, to the American president. So, this sort of a thing, it does really call, I would not like to comment on it. I'm only quoting what has been said in their setting about it.
It's embarrassing. Major Nadeem, you can go ahead. I will not interrupt you, sir.
Sir, Shiv, let me ask one question. Please, let me ask one question.
You can answer the question, sir. You can answer the question.
Okay. Let me speak. What Justin Trudeau is saying, why America refused visa to Modi? Okay, why America did refuse visa to Modi? What's happening in Ladakh? What's happening in Seven
What
Sisters?
visa are you talking about, sir? What visa are you talking about?
What's happening in Sikkim? Sir,
what visa are you talking about? Modi and Trump wished each other on their birthdays just now. 5 days ago. What are you talking about?
Rebellion.
What are you talking about?
You are just quoting a very simple, unpopular person statement.
Sir, I think those images have rattled you. I think General Dua's words have rattled you a little bit.
Statement is there. You are killing 6 in every country.
Major Nadeem, you need to calm down because I know the truth hurts, sir. I know the truth hurts. See, that is the thing about NDTV. On NDTV, we don't indulge in any jingoism. We are just showing you facts. We are showing you facts. I have never seen General Dua raise his voice in his life. And he has been part of the most daring operations. He has never raised his voice, but you are losing your cool, sir. You are
I'm
proving
not
the point
losing.
of what you're trying to say.
I'm
We are
just
speaking
trying
facts here.
to get a window to ask questions from you because you are suppressing my voice. You are not allowing
that
me to
entire
speak.
map. I'll put that map on air one last time before I end this debate, sir. I'll put that map on air one last time before I end this debate. And let me just say,
I can show you the
all of these things that are happening in Pakistan are because of India's law. Let me take your side for once, Major Nadeem. Let me humor all the people of Pakistan and say that everything that's happening in this map is because of sleeper agents of RAW.
There is no insurgency.
Whether it is Gilgit-Baltistan, whether it is Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, the AFPAC border, whether it is the LC, whether it is Balochistan, wherever you look, wherever tension is happening, sir, I seek your forgiveness, sir. RAW is responsible for all of this, sir. RAW is responsible. I will make sure I keep the questions to RAW. I'm going to end this debate. I apologize we were speaking so much over each other, but facts hurt. The truth hurts, and this needed to be said. Thank you, General Dua. Thank you, Dr. Chaudhary. Thank you, Major Nadeem, for joining me on debate number 2 here on India Matters. India-Pakistan, where every single thing becomes a battlefield. Every single platform becomes a place for warfare. In a year when India and Pakistan literally went to war, where things could have escalated, whether it is the cricket pitch, whether it is the military battlefield, whether it is diplomacy, whether it is TV debates, it looks like warfare is the new norm between India and Pakistan. And that's something I want to remind all of our viewers on a daily basis. Something has fundamentally changed between India and Pakistan. There is no separating friendship from other relations. There is no separating politics from democracy. There is no separating sports from terror. As far as this relationship is concerned, warfare is the only way the two will interface until terror stops entirely. And continuing with our theme of good over evil this Dashera, well, there's a very unlikely headline that came out today, and that was from Pawan Kalyan, the big power star from the south. Now, we all know in this film and cinema crazy country of ours, fan clubs and fan societies and fan communities go head to head very, very often. This festive season, when big films come out, the big stars' own fan communities will go head to head. You often see in social media completely lit up, but things have reached a very worrying end where violence, threats, and all kinds of crimes are also being committed in the names of fans. Open threats are being issued as well. This time it has taken Deputy Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh and power star of Telugu cinema, Pawan Kalyan, to fold his hands and basically appeal to cinema goers and fans everywhere to stop the fan wars. After tensions between different cinema stars of Telugu cinema, including Allu Arjun and Prabhas, this is a big word coming directly from Pawan Kalyan himself. He has said, please stop all these fan wars. They are damaging. All heroes are equal. It is equivalent to Pawan Kalyan, one of the most influential Telugu stars, calling for a ceasefire, not between the stars, but between their fans.
అందరి హీరోల అభిమానులు కూడా నేనేం కోరుకున్నానంటే, లెట్ మీ టెల్ యూ, నేను మనస్ఫూర్తిగా చెప్తున్నాను, ఆల్వేస్ లవ్ హూమ్ యూ అడోర్. మీరు ఏ హీరో కానీ, జూనియర్ ఎన్టీఆర్ గారి దగ్గర నుంచి కానీ, అల్లు అర్జున్ దగ్గర నుంచి కానీ, ప్రభాస్ గారి దగ్గర నుంచి కానీ, చిరంజీవి గారు కానీ, ఎవరైనా సార్, రామ్ చరణ్ గారు కానీ, నాని గారు కావచ్చు, ఎనీ హీరో, ఎనీ లాంగ్వేజ్ హీరో, మనస్ఫూర్తిగా ఐ ఎంజాయ్ దే వర్క్, ఐ అప్రిషియేట్ దే వర్క్. ఎందుకంటే నాకు నా ఆర్ట్ ఫామ్, నేను ఆర్ట్ని ప్రేమించేవాడిని. మనసు ఇంకొక హీరోని ద్వేషిస్తున్నాడంటే ఇక్కడ మనసు సరిగ్గా లేదని అర్థం. అందుకని నాకు అలాంటి ఇప్పుడు థాట్స్ ఉన్నాయి. అందుకని అందరి హీరోల అభిమానులకి మై అడ్వైస్ ఇస్, ఇంక్లూడింగ్ నా అభిమానులతో సహా, స్టాప్ డూయింగ్ దిస్ ఫ్యాన్ వార్స్. Stop doing this fan wars.
Welcoming Kasturi Shankar onto this final segment here on India Matters. Kasturi, good to see you again. Thanks for your time here on India Matters. What did you make of this? Pawan Kalyan, appealing to fans of stars to stop these wars. We have seen recent reports of skirmishes, threats being issued, posters being put up. How serious is this that it needed, someone like a Pawan Kalyan to say stop these fan wars?
First off, happy Dashera and Vijayadashmi to you and the NDTV fam. This is not new, Shiv. You've been in the South. You've grown up, I think, with both Telugu and Tamil in your history, so to speak. So you know that we've always had people, first day, first show, a lot of energy, sometimes gets toxic, and it's always been one versus the other. It's always been NTR versus Ram Charan. I thought S.S. Rajamouli scored a master stroke there, because in Natu Natu, they both danced together, arm in arm, step to step. So, there was no hate. I think Pawan Garu today was talking about this. Basically, it's something everybody would say. He's in a position of responsibility. He's the DCM of Andhra Pradesh. So I have two things to say. Number one, it is something that is said with the positive tone of Vijayadashmi and the upcoming Diwali in mind. It's just advice that an elder brother would give his dear younger brothers in the state, right? I think that's wonderful. I think it actually works for pretty much everyone across regions as well. Even in Tamil Nadu, we've got fan wars. We've had the infamous Ajit versus Vijay wars. We've had the infamous Rajini versus Kamal before, in a different generation. And these actors have gone to great trouble to show how friendly they are. They publish photos of each other visiting.
But Kasturi, is it a dilemma? Is it a bit of a dilemma for these actors? Because, you know, these fan wars are also great publicity. As long as nothing damaging happens and nobody gets hurt, it's all fun and games, isn't it? Or is it a dilemma?
Who needs that kind of publicity? Who needs publicity where, you know, you can go out? Can any star go out and say, you know, my fans are so loyal to me that they will malign the other guy? My fans are so awesome that they will, you know, say nonsense and belittle other people. Nobody is proud of that. So I think every star wants to have a loyal fan base, yes, but not a mad, outrageously outlandish loyal fan base. You know, it's not loyalty there. That's just that's being psycho. Yeah, no one wants a psycho fan base. You know, so while everybody respects and every star, mark my words, every star, starting from Pawan Kalyan Garu to the newest star on the horizon, everybody will say, my dear fan base, my fans who are my life, who are the reason I'm standing before you, my life, my livelihood, they will respect them. But that doesn't mean they're going to justify all the shenanigans that people get down to. Even Allu Arjun, remember Allu Arjun?
Yeah.
And the fan frenzy that ended up in a life being lost?
Yes.
Nobody can justify that kind of stuff. See, today Vijay is facing a huge problem because some of his fans, maybe a handful of fans, have ended up causing their idol a historical problem, a historical disaster, you know?
I agree.
So we are talking about where do we draw the line. I think that's my second point. I think Pawan Kalyan Garu is talking about discipline and love among people. I mean, you can be fan, second, but you've got to be a human and you've got to be a responsible citizen first.
I think it's a nice day that he chose to actually put that statement out, and I'm glad I brought you on, Kasturi Shankar, because
I think it's also because of Kantara, and you know, Kantara faced difficulties. I want to put this out there. The Karnataka film industry sometimes can be very insular, and while trying to protect their film industry, they end up having fringe elements, insulating themselves and isolating other films. And that's not done. And I think that's where it all begun, where there was a boycott call for Kantara, which you know,
no,
everybody loves Rishabh Shetty. So I think he was bringing all of this in.
And it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing because
let's all love movies.
Many things happen in the name of stars. You know, the fandom sometimes gets normalized with the things they do. And I think it's a very good thing that Pawan Kalyan was able to put out this important message out there. And thanks for helping us understand it, Kasturi Shankar, here on NDTV. Thank you so much for your time tonight on The Shera. And finally, it is my duty to bid farewell on my show to Jane Goodall. If you haven't heard of her, and I'm sure all viewers of NDTV have, was one of the world's most famous naturalists, primatologists, anthropologists, and animal lovers. She was 91 years old and became synonymous with primates, specifically the chimpanzees of Congo. She became one of the most beloved and endearing advocates for animal rights and for understanding the beautiful world around us. Tributes have been pouring in for Jane, whose lifelong work as an animal rights campaigner and chimpanzee expert helped broaden the world's understanding of what it is to share this world with the beautiful creatures that share this world with us. And on this Vijay Dashami, as we say goodbye tonight, remember that the victory over good or evil is hugely subjective. We live in a world where every single day ideas come at us projecting what good and evil really are. Whether it is politics, whether it is culture, whether it is cinema like what we just discussed, whether it is sport, or whether it is any of the other things that are competing each and every day for our attention. Remember, in the world's largest democracy, we've got noise, we've got dissent, we've got distractions, we've got debate, as we show you every single here on NDTV. But we always believe it is the citizens and the viewers who will ultimately decide. Thank you for watching.